Hello, everyone. This is episode 19 of the Quick Resume podcast. My name is Deck. I'm your bad juju. I'm joined by my buddy, my mate, my pal. Hi, Tim. It's Error Code Wheeze. How are we doing, buddy?
Hey man, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm fine. I just wish we had a show opener like that was as good as Krispy Kreme donuts like last week.
Yeah.
There's no topping that, really, is there?
No, which is why I kind of didn't want to do this week's episode.
Yeah. I mean, what's the point? Like, everyone's had to click off. Everyone's clicked away by now.
Exactly. I thought, why carry on when you've already peaked? So
yeah, I know.
I mean, just downhill from this point.
But I did see some in the flesh. So when you're asking me how I was doing, the answer is quite good because I didn't buy one, but I did see one, and I thought,
yeah, you sent me a
that's
pic.
pretty cool.
Yeah. I have to admit though, didn't look that great. It was a much darker green than I thought. Very dark green.
They look
kind of fucked it.
Yeah. It turns out it has a chocolate filling as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I was right in the sense that no one wants green sludge coming out of their donut. So
I mean, I'm not sure.
I'll take that as a win. No, we'll take that one as a win.
But other than that, other than being spoiled by Krispy Kreme donuts, I've just been socializing. I'm exhausted. I'm shattered. Jesus. I don't want to do any more of it, quite frankly.
No,
and my job is entirely
a gamer again.
Yeah, I know. I need to just lurch into the darkness. So, and the thing is, it's because summer is going to end like promptly. It's going to be over, and so when the sun is out, the suns are out, the buns are out, and I just drink. So that's what happens.
Yeah,
I mean, that's been me. Honestly, That is it. Although I did, hang on, that's actually not true. I did, because I have, as we all know, any frequenters of the podcast will know I am addicted to Microsoft rewards. And so whenever they ask me to get achievements, I go on an absolute rampage. I consult forums that I've never been on before. I message people. And it's wonderful because I did it. And I played Rain on Your Parade, which is some game about raining on people. That's pretty fun. Got an achievement out of that. Nice. I played Tetris Connected, which I thought I'd get an achievement for really easily, but I didn't. However, I did have a really quite relaxing experience doing so. So I actually kind of want to play it again. It was really good. And what else did I
play? Is that Tetris the one where it's like a battle royale Tetris? Is that the one?
It is, yeah. I didn't play that. I was just playing the campaign.
Oh, okay.
But it's very pretty, and the music was good. It syncs up to when you're playing.
Yeah, which is cool. Yeah, I actually like that.
Yeah, it's the ultimate vibe game.
Apart from
something
Saber.
else. Apart from Beat Saber. Omno. Yeah, Omno.
Of course, Omno.
Of course, Omno.
Omno du fromage.
Exactly. I just played with a wedge of cheese until something popped up on my Xbox. Nice. And that was good as well. That was one of those games that was showed at some Xbox thing a while back. It is a multiplayer game, but it was shown on Xbox's stage and made by one person, all of that jazz. And it was pretty nice. I played like halfway through it until I got the appropriate amount of achievements, and then I stopped playing it. not to say it was a use and abuse kind of scenario.
Wow.
I had a nice time. But yeah, that. So I have actually, touched on a few things, just not for long.
It's all right. It's definitely more adventurous than I've been this week in my gaming, I have to admit.
And I mean, I guess we should really just ask the audience to just take a minute and think, what has Tim been playing this week?
Guess what Tim's been playing?
Because it's hard.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I mean, I started off with a bit of Metal Gear Solid on my PlayStation. I'm kidding. No, I've been playing Apex. Apex.
Yeah, it's all right, man. It's okay. We understand, and like it's. I think of all the episodes, today is probably the best excuse that you and we have to speak about Apex.
Yeah, let's go.
Please, all right. Kick us off.
Yeah, so Season 10 came out. As the time we're recording this, I think we're on Monday. I hope that's okay to say. It's Monday. So Season 10 has been out for almost a week now. And I don't know, for anyone that follows Apex, it's come with a new character. It's come with a new gun, and it's come with a revamped map where they've changed it up and made it very, very pretty, might I add. World's Edge is definitely the prettiest it's ever looked. With all the map changes, all the snow and the lava contrasts and stuff like that, it's pretty colourful and it's pretty nice to look at.
It is.
So season 10 came out, and obviously it comes with many shooters, and all their new seasons. It comes with a lot of balance changes. So one of my favorite characters, who was absolutely garbage for so long in this video game, is now actually pretty good. Like he's a solid B tier, now. I still don't think he's quite in that A tier. But I can actually use him, have fun, and be helpful. So I've been kind of addicted to playing.
You can actually do something other than just being a nuisance in the back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he does feel a lot better though. And it's pretty fun to play that character.
Me too.
The new gun's sick. Yeah, your character got a cheeky little buff as well. So, and I kind of just been blitzing that, to be honest. Quite hard actually. I mean, I've been playing it pretty aggressively, shall we say? And yeah, it's been good fun. The changes are cool. It's freshening things up, and yeah, having fun.
And the addiction continues.
And the addiction continues. Yeah, unfortunately, we haven't hit up ranked yet because this guy's been out socializing all weekend. So, and obviously we've discussed this in previous episodes where ranked is a bit weird. Where if you get ahead of someone, like if I'm like gold 1 and he's like gold 2, or even if I get into like platinum and he's gold 2, that difference becomes like really annoying later. Like if I were to hit like the diamond level and then he's still in like platinum, for example, he queues into higher rank lobbies, so it's harder for him to gain and catch up with me. So we've kind of hit the brakes on that because we like to play it together. So yeah,
which isn't, I mean, it isn't too different from any other ranked game modes. Like, is it? So like if you've played ranked on any games with friends, then you probably know what we're talking about. So yeah, there is just trying to synchronize with that a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's been cool, hasn't it? I haven't really got a chance to play as much as I'd like to. Seeing as, I've just been out doing stuff, and my character got robbed, and so I've just kind of been doing that. But it's it's nice. I'm sick of World's Edge, the map. That I'm sick of it already. I'm ready for it to go now. Yeah, the casual games are just too boring there because everybody lands in the same spot. It's tilted tower syndrome, it's just fucking infuriating. Everyone lands in the same spot because you can't do anything else.
It's slightly better than it was. Like World's Edge was insufferable before, but now it's slightly better because people do like to check out the new places. But it's still bad. Like you still get like 70% of the lobby landing in that one place, and then it's just mayhem.
I'm just ready for that map to sub out. I like the changes, but they needed to kill that spot. I'm sure they will at some point, but whatever. That's why there's now 3 maps in rotation, so I guess that's good.
But luckily that doesn't really transition into rank that much because you don't really see people all cramming into the same spot in ranks because people actually care about how they perform. They don't want to just die and then just re-queue again like nothing happened. So it doesn't really transition into ranked. So I think ranked will be a quite a bit more fun on that map. But yeah, it's definitely it's an interesting season. They've taken quite an interesting approach where I feel like they've made a lot of stuff just really powerful this season. I feel like they just went to the drawing board and was like, let's just release everything quite not OP, but in a very strong state and just see how the community reacts to it. Where in previous seasons they actually tend to launch stuff like underpowered to be like cautious that they don't break their game and make people angry, and then they would like buff it. So they've taken an interesting approach this season, and I actually quite like it. It's I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, well, I think there is the thing of like when that happens, it like tilts the meta a little bit harder, doesn't it? Like whereas releasing something weak, it's like, oh, that was fun. Now let's go back to what we were doing before. So
Exactly.
if
It's
things
just
are a bit
safer.
powerful, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
and that has been nice. There has been a couple of weapons which have like Prowler or the new one, the Rampage, things like that are just like fundamentally so much better, or we didn't have access to them, that sort of stuff. So yeah,
they're so good. The Prowler is you can just 3-burst someone with that SMG, and
let's
it's
get
just
nerfed
disgusting.
apparently.
Oh, well, I'm not surprised. I have literally, with red armor, the best armor in the game. For anyone who doesn't know, it's like the most hit points you can have. I can literally kill someone in 3 bursts of this semi-auto SMG.
Yeah,
just so quickly. It's gross. It's very, very powerful.
yeah, I don't know. I'm still a bit
It's
up
not
and down.
it's not stupid. It's not stupid OP. It's not like I don't want to play this game anymore. This is infuriating OP, but it's very, very good. Like
Yeah, I think it frustrates me a bit because I think a lot of the community really like. Oh, I mean, it's vocal minority stuff, but a lot of them, and this doesn't just go for Apex. This goes for like lots of games as a service games where like lots of vocal parts of the community get like comfortable with what they like. I guess maybe this is just a competitive thing rather than like a PvE thing, and they're like when anything comes to upset the meta, they like just really don't want it. And I don't like it when we're constantly like, oh look, this is something fresh. Oh look, it's nerfed again. Let's never use it again. And like I'm just kind of like, well, can we not just like have it? Because when things release weak, it takes like 6 months to a year to get like any sort of resolution. I understand that's just how it works because it's not simple as turning a dial to like make something more powerful necessarily. But you can kind of do that to turn things back. So yeah, whatever. It's just a symptom of the games as a service thing. But hopefully things don't get blasted too hard because I don't want to be using the same weapons again for the whole season, and the same characters and stuff. The variety is nice.
Exactly. We're using guns we don't normally use, and it's refreshing. Like the new gun that was added, the Rampage, is really good. Again, people are calling out for nerfs on it. I don't think it even needs a nerf. I'm quite happy with the way it is.
I don't think
Like
it's enough.
I feel like it's fine. And then when you charge it with the grenade, then it's like really good. But then it's just like that kind of makes sense because you're filling up your inventory with these grenades. Stuff you would normally take like batteries or extra ammo for. You're sacrificing quite a lot to take 3 or 4 thermites with you. So I feel like it's justified that the weapon should be really good when you use that.
I agree. And the thing is, it's the sort of weapon where if it gets nerfed, it will become useless.
Yes.
It won't have a role.
I literally said that exactly. And I said that about Seer as well, the new legend. Again, for those of you who don't know, he's like a recon character, so he does like a lot of scanning and stuff like that. People have said he's just cheap. He does like wall hacks. He can like hit you with an ability, and he can track you through. He can track you through like any object for the next like 5 seconds or something like that. Yeah. But people are calling out for like a massive nerf on him. But that's the sort of character where if you nerf him, he could be absolutely garbage because he can only hit one, like up to one character at a time. A good one you can hit a whole team, but it doesn't happen often. Realistically, you're tagging 1 or 2 people with your attack every 30 seconds. Yeah. And people would just go back to Bloodhound, who could just press left bumper and just hit everyone all the time.
Yeah, the thick and wide scan.
Yeah, exactly. So the chub scan. Yeah, so he'll be useless. And I suggested a good way to nerf him if you wanted to touch him, would just be that he can't use his passive, the heartbeat sensor, with his weapons not out. And if he wants to use it, it should slow him down to the point where he's ADS down a gun or something like that. Nerf his mobility. So, with vision and knowing where everyone is, you're sacrificing mobility. Like, don't like nerf the range on his tactical or nerf his ult or anything like that. I just think just make him slower when he's using his stuff. That's it.
I could see a few tweaks here or there. And maybe some quality of life, just because there's a lot, especially because there's a lot of people playing at the moment. Like, it can get quite confusing. What's yours? What's your teams? And what's other teams? But I could see maybe a tweak here or there. But like, it would kind of be a bit annoying if there was like a big nerf. So, great, guess we're back to Octane meta. Like, And it's not even. I don't even think seer meta is going to be a thing. To be honest, I don't really think that's the case. I feel like you're going to have that be a what's like a complement to mobility legends. Like I don't think it's going to be based around recon legends. Not like when Bloodhound was really really powerful, when you could just run at teams because he could scan every 4 seconds. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't. He is powerful. I think he is powerful. But like we were saying earlier before the show, we don't. He's not the most powerful a character has ever been in the game. So it's just this thing like when new characters come out, communities just freak the fuck out sometimes. And I just like I wish.
Oh yeah, you see
we
it
could
all the
just
time,
leave it for a bit, like just chill. But
yeah, you have to let the dust settle a little bit and see how people play him and see what comps work. I mean, surprisingly, he works really well with the character that I like to use, Fuse. Like he works really well with him because you injure someone, they go behind a rock, they're trying to heal, you throw out your attack, it stops them healing, and I just knuckle cluster that rock, and then they're just screwed. They can't get their bat off. It's just it works really well with those sort of characters.
yeah.
But I don't know. It's hard to say, but I'm not one of those people preaching a massive nerf for this character. Like, I'm quite happy with where he is. He's not too oppressive.
I'd like to see where he's at the halfway point for the season, but from what I've heard, we're actually going to get a patch before that, which is bonkers because the amount of time I had to wait for some of my characters that I like to get patched, like a fucking year.
Yeah, I mean it's the same with the stupid bow. When the bow first released, for whatever reason, they just nerfed that in like 2 weeks. It's just like, really, it wasn't even that good, man. And they nerfed it wrong as well. All they needed to do was add more noise to it. The damage was fine. Like I don't know why they were just like, oh, it just does less damage now. It's just such a lazy nerf, and now it's just useless. So
yeah. I mean, it was powerful, but it was offset by the fact that it was the only type of weapon that had that ammo in the game. So the ammo economy was all over the place. Like you didn't find it as much. Like in the first week, because everybody wanted to use it. So it's one of those things like you nerfed it too quick, I think. Because like at the beginning, nobody had a problem finding ammo.
Yeah, and it was the noise thing. You just it felt like you had a silenced weapon. You just didn't know where you were getting shot from. So no, they're sometimes a bit weird with their nerfs and buffs. Respawn, I have to admit, they can be a bit too quick to the trigger, or they're just so slow that it's just incredibly painful. I just there are some characters in that game that have been like D tier and unusable for like 3-4 seasons, which is like a year, like 9 months to a year. These characters are just gathering dust, and then sometimes they just nerf stuff in like a week, and you're like, I don't know. They're kind of odd about that, but yeah. Overall, I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, not to be a downer, it's still the best shooter on the market by a long way,
by far. Yeah.
So, in my the only game that's going to compete with that to me is going to be Halo, but they're vastly different games anyway.
Yeah.
So that's Apex. That's our week.
Yay.
So there is, I was saying before the show, this has been a fairly slow news week, but I think there's still some cool stuff in here. There's lots of little things. First party pie. There is a first party pants category. Again, I'm glad that we have the opportunity. I'm humbled, in fact, that we have the opportunity to have such a category. And we get to start by knowing that Outer Worlds 2 will use Unreal Engine 5. And this, I guess, is maybe a bit of an indication of how far away the game is, but also of how the game is going to look, because I think that's really good, because Outer Worlds had the art direction of it was really good, but I felt that for some reason it was kind of ugly. Like the color palette was nice, the direction was good, but it just seemed some parts of it were just really ugly, and I can't put my finger on why. Do you know what I mean?
I kind of know what you mean. It was like they did like the plants and the wildlife and some of the enemy designs really, really well. But then, like, when you're walking through the towns and stuff like that, buildings and roads and stuff like that, was all very brown, grey, and very copy and paste.
And faces didn't look good either.
Yeah, faces were a bit, So, I mean, it's great, because it definitely had a really unique sort of style to it. You know, they definitely were like, we want to make a game that's like wackier than Fallout in its own way, you know, because Fallout's a bit more serious, stuff like that. So they could really let loose, and you can tell they tried. And yeah, with more power behind them using Unreal Engine 5, a game like that could look wonderful, because really an alien planet can look however the mind wants it to look. You could literally just imagine it, and it could look as wacky and as colorful as you want. And something like that could look amazing on Unreal Engine 5. So
yeah, hopefully.
And it hopefully won't suffer from frame rate issues like Outer Worlds did as well. I think that also helped with the ugliness of it, the fact that it did chug quite a bit, that game. When there was a lot of stuff going on, it chugged like below 30 quite consistently. So yeah, that didn't help.
Yeah, I mean, it probably, in terms of the timeline, it probably tells us that it's around like 23, 24, I reckon, 23, 24.
Yeah.
If we're looking at Hellblade, which has got announced in like 2018, and like we know we're not going to see that till like 23. This is, I mean, I appreciate maybe this is a smaller game, or maybe like less of a technological undertaking, but it gives you an idea of the roadmap, which is obviously no big deal because nobody was expecting Outer Worlds 2 to be announced at the recent Xbox and Bethesda showcase. So, I mean, honestly, no biggie, but it's you can tell there is like an industry-wide shift towards Unreal Engine 5, and I'm sure that the expertise within the Xbox sphere will be like talking to each other. Like Ninja Theory are big on it. Obviously, the coalition being that a lot of their pedigree is from Epic, the guys who make Unreal Engine. So, yeah, I'm sure that'll speed things along. But that's Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's exciting.
There's been a bit of controversy. Controversy? I've never said controversy.
I say controversy.
I don't know why I said that. Yeah, no, controversy. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, everyone. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. So there's been like some controversy that Forza games get delisted, and so Forza 7, the most recent Forza Motorsport game, which I think must have been like 2015 or something. So it's getting on, but it's getting delisted, so you won't be able to buy it. If you own it, you'll be able to play it, but you won't be able to buy it. And the reason for that is because they use licensed music, which is a problem with all of the Forza games.
They've only got it licensed for like a certain period of time, have they? It just expires.
Right.
Okay.
And so I guess this isn't just a Forza thing, but like games that, and I guess a lot of racing games maybe use licensed music more. But I mean, what do you think about this? Is this like any sort of problem, do you think, or is this like what do you think?
I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, it's never good to have a game delisted, right? Because then it's just not like you said, it's just not available for purchase. You might not have it already. I mean, we had the same issue when we were bashing on Sony for when they were delisting a lot of the PSP stuff, weren't they, and stuff like that. Where we were just like, you know, they're just taking it off and removing it, so it's no longer available, and it's just like people have worked on this game, and I feel like it should always be available for download or purchase. Yeah, exactly. It's not being preserved. So yeah, we bashed on Sony pretty hard for that, and I feel like it's exactly the same principle here, right?
I mean, pretty much. Yeah, I think the only difference is because the actual consoles were being delisted. Like the PSP was like, it doesn't, like, you can't buy anymore, so they're just like, fuck it, let's just close it. Like they could leave them up to be bought, but you're right, yeah, it is the same principle. And it's especially bad, I think, because it flies in the face of, I think this is like Xbox's marketing argument, marketing sort of angle of like, you know, we're big on backwards compatibility, we're all about preserving games, you know, this, that, and the other. Forza's a first party game as well, so you know it's a bit of an eyebrow raiser, but I'm surprised that they haven't figured a way around this. Like I saw some conversation on this on like Reddit or forums and Twitter and whatever, but like why they don't just have like they don't just revisit it and swap the licensed music out with other music. I mean, I guess they have to pay for it regardless, depending on what the music is, but they could just remove the radio stations, or maybe they just need to start thinking about like having like make some music for the game so they have rights for it, so then when the time comes,
like in-house music, just just have producers sort of make tracks for you and stuff like that, license your own stuff. I mean, or there's
Xbox acquires Imagine Dragons.
yeah. Oh mate, Imagine Dragons are actually, I actually quite like them. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, so it's a little bit weird. I mean, I guess it just comes down to cost, and I wonder. I mean, surely they had the option to just be like, we can extend the license for these tracks in this game, but for I guess the record labels or the producers were just like $1 billion for whatever reason. So
Yeah.
like you'd think they give some sort of reasonable price where Xbox are like, fine, we'll pay you this much more so we can keep it listed, but for whatever reason I don't know. So it's a little bit weird. I don't know why you can't just swap it out for there's plenty of tracks out there that are not licensed, or like you said, you can just sort of create your own. There's plenty of freelance workers out there where you can get your own tracks made and then own the rights to these things.
Yeah. And the thing is, it just feels like such a small price to pay. Like, could we not just have the game like with no radio? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sort of confusion around, like, you know, you'd have to put a big sign up, like, oh, this isn't a full game anymore. Like, you know, you're missing a core part of the experience. So I guess I understand the confusion there, and it's maybe just easier to be like, look, this game's actually like coming up to 7 years old. Let's just get rids.
Yeah, and it's a racing sim at the end of the day as well. Like, you probably find that a lot of people don't even listen to the radio, right? They're probably just like driving around the track and
the engine, like,
the
engine,
the engine, the tires, all that kind of stuff. The screeching as you turn. You probably find that, you know, a lot of people that are heavy into it for the racing sim aspect of it aren't really maybe listening to the radio anyway. That's quite an assumption to make, but at least I'd like to think that, you know, but.
No, I think you're right. I think this is less of like a consumer problem and more of like a IP rights and like production problem. Like, yeah, how are they going to put something on the market and avoid getting sued for putting out a game which isn't technically complete? You know, things like that. So maybe it's just the ease of it, and ultimately they're probably weighing up the benefits and the costs. They're like, well, we could do this, that, and the other, but you know, the amount of money we're going to get from doing so is so minimal. And honestly, you know, if they can do that and then put money elsewhere or towards the next Forza, you know, is it really such a biggie?
It does, but it just kind of sucks just seeing something just never available anymore, right? And I mean, I guess it's gonna hard copies of that game will skyrocket for resale value as well now. You know, you probably see them on eBay and they start to go for quite a lot of money. It just sucks that this thing's just no longer purchasable, right? But yeah, I kind of understand the reasons. And it doesn't hurt me personally, but I'd be kind of annoyed, I guess, when a game is just no longer.
Yeah, no, I think we're on the same page in sort of principle. It is a bit sad, but you know, hey ho, is what it is. I wonder if Xbox will be able to figure out an angle for it going forward. But as it stands, this has happened for like many Forza games in the past, so this is just kind of tradition. So we'll have to see, really. But cool. Next up, Age of Empires 4. Do you remember that game? That's a game that's coming out. That's a pretty big game, in fact. Pretty huge. Sequel to one of the biggest IPs, I would say biggest PC IPs maybe ever. There's a beta going on for it currently, right now.
Whoa!
What platforms, you ask?
PC, Switch, Switch.
It's all fucking PC. Phil, Phil, listen to me, buddy. I just want to play Age of Empires on my Xbox. That's all I want to do. You got there with Flight Sim? Yeah, with Flight Sim? Enjoy Age of Empires. Thank you for listening.
Is this a stupid question? But did it get a release date for Xbox? This game?
No,
it hasn't yet. Okay, yeah,
nope.
All right. I was about to say it's really stupid. So it hasn't even got a release date, and it hasn't even got a beta. Nice.
As far as Xbox are concerned, this game is not coming to consoles yet. I think someone somewhere has said they plan to do it, but like there's no roadmap or like official confirmation. My mind is is escaping me, but this I've got to be honest. This trend of like, I think that there is a bit of a weird disparity between Xbox handling PC and Xbox. So don't get me wrong. Overall, they're doing really well. I think most people will agree. But like, some people have said that there's like a bit of a disparity between Games Pass on PC versus Games Pass on console, and then people on console are obviously saying, well, we're paying a subscription fee on PC. You don't have to pay for Xbox Live. So there is kind of like this whole back and forth of things around that. And then this is now, they've done this with a few games. Gears Tactics was the first, Flight Simulator the second, now Age of Empires being the third, where they will just release it on PC and they won't commit to an Xbox release. And then eventually at some point in the future, they'll say, oh, by the way, that game that you like gave up on, that you were like, don't care about anymore. We're going to release that. I'm being dramatic because I ended up playing Gears Tactics and it was fucking rad. But it's just kind of the thing of like, why? I think that they need to have like some better parity on this. Just be like, here's a unified release date. We're going to release it on all consoles at the same time. I understand PC development is different to console development, but it strikes a better like tone to be able to be like, we've got this game that's coming to PC and Xbox because we're a unified platform. Remember, on both on both places. Whereas at the moment it's kind of like, well, maybe it's coming, maybe it's not, and that's kind of a bit like,
or just meet in the middle and just commit that it will be. And give like an estimated date and just be like, we're hoping it will be the end of
summer 2022.
Yeah, exactly. But like, because I don't feel like Gears Tactics was that long on PC before it came to Xbox. It wasn't that long, was it? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel like we waited like Okay, I don't feel like we waited an eternity for it. But like, 6 months. Like it's not a problem to. It's the whole Age of Empires 4 is on PC, and then it's just like, what about Xbox? And they're just like, no comment. It's just like, just tell us yes or no. And if it's a yes, just give like an estimated date and just don't commit to anything. Just be like, and say exactly what you said. Just be like, obviously PC development is very different to console development. We're working on it. We're hoping end of 2022, right? But instead, you just kind of keep everyone just floating like on air, and they just don't know. And then this creates this whole like you said, this disjointed feeling where it doesn't feel like a unified platform. Where it would feel a lot more unified if you just knew it was coming, right? Like it's just work has to go into it. So
yeah, definitely. And like I'm having a look now, like the Gears Tactics thing, it released in April 2020 for PC, and then November obviously release of the Series X, so like 7 months. So I mean, it's not super bad, but it was cool that they brought it out with like an additional mode, and it's like all optimized for Series X. So that was like nice, but it's still that thing of like, I wish that was just happening all at the same time. If it has to be that way, it has to be that way. But yeah, I think the communication around it can sometimes be. It's like one of those areas of weakness I think that Xbox needs to work on. Because their communication has been really good for like the last 2 years, but on the whole PC Xbox thing, they don't quite seem to be there yet. I guess it's because it's different teams working on different stuff. But yeah, that's something that can be a bit annoying.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
So we'll wait and see, because it's looking good. Age of Empires, from what I'm hearing, a lot of the fans of the series are really liking it. There's like naval warfare back, and I've never owned a copy. I've only ever played it at other people's houses when I was younger, and I always quite like the idea of just like having a beer and playing Age of Empires for an hour. I don't know why, especially if that's the sort of game that needs to have quick resume. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
like I could pick that up. I could jump in and out of that very easily. So
yeah,
I like.
Yeah,
that
they are kind of fun. I played an Age of Empires in the past. I think it was Age of Empires 3 that I had on my PC. And yeah, they are pretty fun. It's not like a necessity for me. I don't live and breathe it, but they're pretty fun. Yeah, they're good. They're a good time.
And that's the thing. It'll be on Games Pass, so
Games Pass. Well, maybe not. They haven't said it's coming to Xbox yet. Let's not get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, Games Pass for
comment.
PC. Okay. All right, cool. Moving on to a game that I do know is coming to Xbox, or rather is already out on Xbox. Just today, this is breaking news. This is you're welcome. Although by the time we upload this, it'll probably be like Wednesday and we'll be late anyway. So,
No, upload this today.
Jesus.
We would need this to be breaking news. It will blow up our channel.
This will
more
be the
than
one.
it currently is.
Yeah. Hellblade. You haven't played Hellblade. Hellblade just got a Series X and S optimization upgrade, or rather, it just got announced. I don't actually know when it's coming out. The game was gorgeous, even without it, but it's getting a patch.
More gorgeous.
For Xbox. This is really one of those just funny things because it's like because the studio Ninja Theory is owned by Xbox. Like all the execs are on Twitter like, oh, go play the upgrade patch, and they're like like just side eyeing because they know they've held back like the optimization from other platforms because it's on Switch and it's on PlayStation. But it's what are you gonna do? Like, of course, it's just the way it works.
It is what it is. Yeah,
it is, unfortunately, but I guess to a degree, you would be paying the team you'd be putting money into the team to make an optimization patch for a different platform, which I guess is like silly, but yeah, it's just funny because it's a multiplayer game. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. I had a quick look at the trailer for it. Obviously, looks stunning, no surprise there. And I've put a little screenshot on the notes here, which show the different modes. So there's like a performance mode, a resolution mode, and an enriched mode. So this is really cool. Because I remember we had this conversation. We had this conversation before we started the podcast. When the One X came out, of like different performance modes, and I think back then it was like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the one before that, Rise of the Tomb Raider. They were offering like different performance modes for the One X at the time, and everyone was like, "Whoa, this is cool and new." You can have higher frames or less frames and more resolution. And like, I'm really happy to see this is something that's continued to happen as we've got into like the Series X generation and the 9th gen. And these are especially with like given that one of the big marketing pitches for this generation of consoles was ray tracing. That's what this is, what I'm kind of looking at. And I just quite like this. So you kind of got performance mode, which is can go up to 120, but will cap out around 1080p, 120 frames, sorry, I should say, but caps out around 1080p. No ray tracing. You got your resolution mode, which will go up to 4K dynamic, so it will fluctuate. 60 frames, but no ray tracing. Or you've got your enriched mode, which will be ray tracing up to 4K, but 30. So there's just a lot of options there. You do what you want.
Yeah.
And that was what I just read out was the Series X specs. The Series S has its own, which it's fairly similar, but just instead of 4K, it's 1440p, or maybe and varying between 720 and 1080p by the looks of it. So, but yeah. It's you catch my drift. It's a nice selection of choices, I think.
It's quite interesting. I mean, based on which one would you pick if you out of that list?
I would probably go resolution.
That frame rate. Yeah, you wouldn't take that frame rate dip for the ray tracing.
I'd probably try it, but it depends. It depends because like Hellblade wasn't a particularly twitchy game. Like there's a bit of reactions there, so it just depends how it kind of feels. I do find it kind of hard to go back to 30 frames, so I would definitely try it. I would see how it felt, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same as you. The resolution mode and just 60, 4K and just locked at 60 definitely seems more appealing to me. And it depends if you can also switch on the fly. I assume if you wanted to go to like a ray tracing, you might need to. Pardon me. You might need to like you might need to like reboot the game or something, or like potentially it's not just like oh, this area looks nice. I'm just going to whack on ray tracing and see if it looks even nicer. And then you just whack it back to 60. I don't know how that's going to work. So, yeah, you could reach very scenic moments. And if it's just like a quick flick of a button and you're like, oh, let's see what this looks like with ray tracing and stuff like that, then you can just quickly flick it over, have a look around, and then go back to resolution mode, right?
Yeah, and I think most games are like that. There are some games that like require a a hard reboot of the game. But I think most games, from what I can remember, do like just do let you do that.
Yeah, change on the fly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be quite interesting, and yeah, that's pretty cool. And hey, maybe I'll play Hellblade. You've been telling me to play it for years, and
you
I love ignoring you.
I know you do.
I love getting under your skin and telling you it's a bad game.
I'm sure there's like the audience is starting to draw a pattern here of games I recommend and games that you haven't played, or games that I think are good and games that you have not played.
Yeah, still haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2.
I know. Did you ever play the first one?
Yes, I did play the first one.
You played the first one, yeah. That was a masterpiece, right?
Yeah.
I didn't play that until last year.
Cool anymore.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I have to wait for games to get not cool first. Of
course.
You know, I'm not about hopping on that bandwagon. But yeah, maybe I'll give it a go. It's not a very long game, is it? You said it was like 8 hours or something, didn't you?
Be around 10 or 12.
Okay.
Oof. Not super short, but short.
God. Too much of a commitment for me. That could be 8 to 10. That could be 10 to 12 hours on Apex, mate. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. You could. I know. That's 20 levels on the battle pass at least.
Yeah, at least.
God. Oh, God. It's like a treadmill. It's like a never-ending treadmill.
Yeah.
And at the end of a treadmill is a trench full of alligators.
We're all just hamsters on a treadmill waiting to run into alligators.
Yeah.
It's life, everyone. It's life.
That's life.
Life in a nutshell.
That's life.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, was that did I beat the microphone?
No. I liked it. It was good.
Okay.
It was yeah.
I sense dishonesty, but I think you're doing it for the good of my mental health. So we'll move on.
Sure. Yeah.
So we're still, ladies and gents, under the first party banner. We're still going. When I say there's a first party, I'm not fucking around. This is busy. Busy with menial shit. So this is our Halo section. Still under the first party banner, and this is like not news, but it's just some dumb shit that I kind of wanted to vent about. And I've aptly named it Watermelon Gate. And I think everybody's just been talking about like fruit and shit on Twitter. But essentially, what has been happening is that since the flighting test, you can imagine that there might be some people who just get into these things to go around to the edges of the map and shoot fruit and bricks and like specks of dust just to see what happens. And then they record anything that doesn't look like, it was made on a supercomputer, and they put it on Twitter and say, wow, I can't believe how bad this looks. Sounds a bit familiar, doesn't it? It sounds like, taking a freeze frame of a brute and zooming in,
dying,
and down-resing it.
High-speed action.
Yeah, and saying, wow, this is abysmal. This is a PS2 game. So I don't know why I'm surprised, to be honest with you. I don't know why this isn't coming as a surprise.
Take it easy. God, shall I finish off this story? You're getting a bit emotionally compromised.
It's
here,
just so stupid.
Okay, so
I just want people to have fun with video games. That's so much to ask.
Oh God! So you're telling me that someone. This is fun. This guy had a lot of fun doing this. So you're telling me someone went around and shot a watermelon, and it looked like garbage,
and
then
bananas.
He, posted, and bananas, and what they just looked like trash when they exploded, and
after like 5 shots, there was like a canned animation of them like just all exploding and vanishing, rather than each individual watermelon reacting, and that was the point. That was the
serious
thing. That was the hill to die on.
No, that's ridiculous. They should explode individually. I'm completely on board with this guy. What's his username? What's his IP address? Where does he live?
I don't know. Dickheadgamer@hotmail.com.
Oh, good one. Zinger.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, it's so sad. It's so ridiculous. You could go into anything and zoom in and shoot something or do something and find it looks like not great,
If
right?
you're looking for
You could
something like that,
literally pick holes in anything.
yeah, you'll find it. You will find it if you want to.
Although
You'll
I'm
find
sure
it.
the watermelon banana guy was fired from 343.
I know they must be so
Poor
delicate over
guy.
there at the moment.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Oh god. Because the thing is, then it starts making other people. It just makes everyone like it. Like drags everyone down to the lowest level. Because then people start getting videos of like The Last of Us 2, and they start like shooting bulbs and shit, and be like, "Oh, it doesn't explode." Oh, and I know it's
Yeah.
just like a counterpoint thing, but it's like it's isn't. I don't care. Like I don't care, and like it's just obviously the Halo thing was a flighting test, so it's like double. It's like doubly as moronic to be like looking at technical like things that maybe aren't finished, because guess what, the game isn't fucking finished yet. So here we are.
Come back and shoot some fruit in the fucking full launch game, and look, I'll be laughing then.
Yeah,
Idiots.
yeah, and
God.
yeah, it's the dumbest shit. So that's I'm gonna stop there before my heart rate gets any higher. Right. I wanted to Digital Foundry. Do you ever watch Digital Foundry videos? They do like really in depth, like the tech dives and stuff.
I've watched some. Yeah, I do. I do remember I watched one recently, which I think you showed me as well, which was the Metro one. With the
Oh shit! Yeah.
yeah, which obviously did look really good. I have watched some in the past, but I never get through the whole video. I watched like a few of their
They're very
like,
technical. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I watch a few of their scenarios that they break down, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm kind of done with this. This is kind of boring. But yeah, I have looked at them. Yeah,
fair enough. And they obviously took the opportunity to have a look at sort of Halo from the flighting and see what was going on there. And they had a look across all platforms. And it was kind of interesting, and I think their take on it was kind of interesting as well, because they're like very knowledgeable guys. So they found that in particular, as it should be no surprise, the Xbox One S version is stripped back. And I don't know if you remember in like Halo 5, I think maybe 4, 5, and now Infinite, they've all used like dynamic resolution. So like if you remember in 5, it ran at 60 frames, and 5 obviously was a really good looking game, especially at the time. And in the distance there was stuff going off at 30, and that isn't uncommon. That does happen in games, but so they appear to be doing the similar thing where there's like dynamic resolution and dynamic like frame scaling. Obviously on the Series X that isn't the case. It's all 60. It can even go up to 120. No biggie. But on the Series S there were times that the lowest time amount they recorded was a 540p model. It's not like the whole game stripped down to 540p, but there was like a frame where it would get that low. You know what I mean? When it's getting stressed and stuff, when they were pushing it. So, it gives you an indication of sort of where that's at. At least it's performing. It's performing at 60, but, the resolution does take a hit. But the art style they've chosen, the things they've done, disguise that. Because it didn't look bad, but of course, when you froze it and you had it look like, oh, it does look a lot blurrier, but what do you expect? And the flip side of this is that when Halo Infinite was revealed to be a cross-gen game, there was a lot of like concern around, it's not going to take advantage of the new hardware. It's going to look like shit. And then it kind of did look a bit pants to a lot of people. So, it kind of didn't help the point. But what the guys were saying is like the fact that it's running, that the older hardware is being juiced this hard means that it's actually taking a bigger advantage of the new hardware than maybe everyone thought they were going to.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, it's the whole give and take of the thing. So like essentially, the too long didn't read was like it runs well on the Series S frame wise. Resolution does dip, but it might be a good thing because it kind of shows that the new hardware has been taken advantage of. And for anyone who played it over the weekend, you'll know it was a bloody good looking shooter. Like it did look nice, 4K. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, what do you think about that whole shenanigan?
Yeah. I mean, it just like you said, it just goes to show that it really does need to utilize actually some of the latest hardware and all the capabilities and power of a Series X for it to perform at its best and look good at 60 frames. So yeah, it justifies the fact that it's running off this pretty beefy console, to be honest, and it kind of needs to look as good as it does. And I wonder, so that this was all obviously. Oh, okay. So this was done in the flighting, was it? When they saw it stripped back and it was at 540p.
And I think
Okay, yeah.
that there's a fair point to be made about like how much that disparity will continue to be in the campaign, because obviously there are going to be things that can be pushed harder in these smaller maps, but other things that won't be able to be pushed as hard in campaign. So
yeah, because what I was going to mention was I wonder if they'll have an option to basically just generally improve on resolution, but go at 30. But they might have that option for the campaign, but obviously multiplayer they want locked at 60 on all platforms, don't they? So it will always take that resolution hit.
60 and above.
Yeah, 60 and above, yeah. So I mean, in all honesty, it's one of those things where in motion and playing it, you're probably not even going to notice this. And for what's considered a pretty budget console, an Xbox One S running Halo Infinite at 60, I'd still be pretty fucking happy, even if I've got some background stuff that going on. That if I enhance that image by 1,000, I realized it was 540p. But
yeah,
you know, overall, I'm still pretty happy that it runs as well as it does on a pretty cheap console, and I'm over the moon to know that this console that I spent a lot of money on back there, which I spent a lot of money on initially thinking Halo Infinite would launch on it, is now, it shows that, it's dependent on this hardware to run at its best. So, and I think it justifies it in my eyes quite a lot. So,
and I think it definitely spells good things for the campaign. Like, I think it's gonna look really nice, on Series S and X consoles. So yeah. It's not, I think, like you said, if you're the type of person who has a 1S or even an original 1 at this point, you're not the sort of person who gives a crap about, as long as it's playing well, it's not lagging, stuttering and glitching, which it wasn't, and we're still 6 months off launch, so sorry,
exactly.
No, we're not 3 months off launch, but the build was 2 months behind, so the disparity is around 6 months. Yeah,
and I think we could all agree as gamers that frame rate is more important than resolution.
Oh, it's a controversial take.
Is it actually? Well, at least in my eyes, it's kind of a fucking no-brainer.
I think it is with the hardcore bunch like us, but there are a group of people who feel that the 30 frames is like more cinematic. Not important for multiplayer games, but
yeah, exactly. It depends on the genre. I would probably agree if I was playing a slow-paced horror game or something like that.
Yeah.
But sure,
for multiplayer,
the general consensus and for shooters and stuff like that is frame rate is so much more important, in my opinion.
King.
So,
yeah, for sure.
It's king. Yeah.
Wicked, man. I'm glad we're on the same page with this stuff. Can you imagine if everything I said, you were like, you're a fucking idiot. No, I want there was 1S running at 1080p.
Fuck you. Yeah. I can't believe the 1S is constantly running at 540p.
Yeah.
What a joke. What is this, a Switch?
Yeah.
Switch hardware confirmed?
The Nintendo ninjas are going to get you if you're not careful.
That's true.
Right, next up. Moving on to the next first-party title. Forza Horizon 5 has had a July update. I can't remember what I read about this. What was it? That's really embarrassing. Sorry, everyone. I read it, and I thought I was going to remember, but I've had a lot of whiskey between when I read it and now, so it seems to...
today?
No. It has escaped me. All I know is that they do these monthly updates, and like last week when your jaw hit the floor and we watched those screenshots, or rather looked at the screenshots, that was like last month's one. But I think essentially they just did a little bit of a Q&A for now. There was something in particular I wanted to... Oh, that was it. I think it's quite funny because one of the questions will there be returning characters from other Forza Horizon games? They're like, yes, there'll be John Smith, Sally McHammy, and it's like, who are these people? Who are these people? I don't care.
You don't know like John Smith?
I didn't know. I didn't even know Forza had a a cast of characters that carried throughout the games. I guess I just am dumb.
Mate, John Smith was in Game of Thrones and everything.
Oh, was he? That guy. Oh, right.
Yeah, that guy, John
Well-
Snowsmith. John Smith. Yeah, no, he's a big deal, man. I'm so glad he's returning.
Yeah. Oh. Well, here we go. It's very professional for me to be scrolling down the page live as I'm trying to do the podcast. But later today, they're doing the next stream.
Oh, I literally read that. I was about to say they're going to show the map today, mate. What is going on? We're so in sync. It's
This
unreal.
is amazing.
We should always do our episodes on Monday.
Yeah.
This is it. Monday's sync day.
So that'll be nice. And I think they did say somewhere that it was like the map is like 50% bigger, but the biome proportions are about the same. Something like that. Because there's more biomes in it. So like the biome sizes are the same.
Okay.
Oh, does that make sense?
No. That doesn't make sense to me.
So like
the biome
if there
sizes are the same, but the map's bigger.
Yeah, because there's more biomes.
What do they fill it with? Oh.
There's more biomes total.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Great.
You missed out the key element of saying there were more biomes.
No, I didn't. I said that.
I was just like, they're just filling it with dead space. Dead space? Confirmed in Forza Horizon?
And we also... they also said that seasons are going to be coming back. That wasn't... I don't know if that was confirmed, but they just like dropped it here in the Q&A. Just like, oh, by the way, yeah, cool. Seasons going to come back, so...
Yeah. Seasons was cool in Forza Horizon 4. It was nice to play like a certain amount of game time in like summer and then transition into winter, and it felt like completely different. It really freshened up the game.
Yeah.
And both in looks and play like how it plays. So, and
frankly, like it's just given that we know Fable is running on Forza Tech, like the same engine, the biggest part of like the excitement to me is like I want to know what this is going to look like in Fable, because like there are some cool biomes here. You know, there's like a volcano. What the fuck does a volcano look like in winter? Does it change?
Yeah.
Does it like what happens? I don't know.
Yeah.
So like imagine like a fantasy layer of that, you know, where there's like all sorts of like goblins and shit. Like, what do they do in the spring?
They're
goblins. Goblins. So that was it. We won't, as I've already said, this show won't be out on the day we recorded, so sorry in advance. We hope you enjoyed the Forza stream. That's already happened. So we just told you what you already know. But that's fine.
Hot off the press, what you've already seen.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay. That's Forza.
Yeah.
That's Forza, man. They're doing some stuff on the audio as well. They're like changing the way they do recordings, and I mean the games always sound amazing, so they'll just sound better. I'm not smart enough to tell you anymore.
I mean, specifics. I kind of play Forza games for the radio stations personally.
Yeah, and the thing is, I wish I was joking, because the songs they pick, they just happen to be bangers. They just happen to have really good audio mixes. So,
mate, they should work with Rocket League and just transfer the Rocket League soundtrack over into Forza.
It's a Monster Cat, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be an absolute bop, dude.
Yeah,
it would drive in Forza around to Rocket League tracks.
Forza. What was it? So there's I just saw this. I thought I'd add it anyway. While we're on the topic of playground games, the senior gameplay designer from CD Projekt Red has left the abandoned ship, and joined Playground. So they've had a lot of like quite like leading industry talent like join their team over like the last 2 years. I've seen it a few times now, but yeah, I mean, this is...
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to have a hand in Fable, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, without doubt. I imagine he won't be going from Cyberpunk and Witcher to Forza. I imagine he'll be going straight to Fable, so... unless they're doing a Transformers game. But yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. Darkspark.
Good old Darkspark.
Darkspark 2. Hashtag Darkspark 2.
What a game. What was that game actually called? Because we always call it Darkspark. But what was it actually
It was called Darkspark. I'm pretty sure it was just called Transformers Darkspark.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
Transformers.
I think it was.
Darkspark. No.
Yeah, Rise of the Darkspark.
Rise of the Darkspark. Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't even mean anything. What does Rise of the Darkspark mean? Oh, dude, it got. Oh my god, it was so bad. The reviews on it were awful.
That
you can buy it on buy.com for £86 though.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know why that joke never got old. Just anything, yeah, anything that was bad was just synonymous with Darkspark. We didn't even say Transformers.
We do that a lot though. We just make some like weird, random connection and like a thing, and it just goes on for like years and years, and we're still saying it. And it's not even really funny for
No,
even
it's
us.
not.
it's just become like a reflex, like Darkspark.
Yeah. It's like when someone hits me in the knee. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
If I get a bad meal or like Nando's, it's like that chicken was Darkspark. That was a load of Darkspark.
The waiter's like, I don't know what you want me to do with that. It was Darkspark. What does that mean?
Go back to the kitchen and you tell the chef that was Darkspark.
Yeah. And I want you to record his reaction.
Dickhead, yeah. Psychonauts 2 went gold.
Yeah.
It's happening. It's finally happening. That game has been in development for a long time, man. It's been like 6 years.
Yep. It's been a long while.
And I haven't really mentioned it. I guess we'll probably talk about it more next week, but over the next week or 2 weeks, there's like Hades, 12 minutes, and Psychonauts 2 coming out.
Mm-hmm.
There's something else I'm missing as well.
Yeah.
I think Back for Blood is maybe at the end of the month, which is Games Pass, not exclusive, but it's Games Pass.
Maybe you're thinking The Ascent. That was also in that list, but that's recently come out, so
yeah,
maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Either way, quite a few games.
Oh yeah. They all look great, and Psychonauts 2 looks amazing. We talked about all of its preview, just being absolutely insane and everyone loving it. Potential game of the year. Yeah. And then obviously Hades is one of my favorite games ever. So if anyone has not played Hades, go and play it. It's absolutely amazing.
I wonder what the achievements would be. You can go and get 100% on Hades on Games Pass.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to, but I've done so much of it on the Switch, building all that up again on the Xbox, and spending all my darkness in that mirror again. So much grinding, man. So much.
No, fair enough. I truly think Psychonauts is going to be a big old banger. I
agree.
So, I mean, roll on the rest of August, really. And then, speaking of the rest of August, Gamescom got announced today. I mean, it didn't get announced. Xbox announced that they were going to be at Gamescom today. That just happened today. So that's kind of cool. I mean, that's not abnormal. Like, usually Xbox have some sort of presence at Gamescom. To quote what was said on the Xbox Wire article, I swear I did. You'll get in-depth updates from some of our previously announced Xbox Game Studios titles, alongside our third-party partners, including some of the incredible titles coming to Xbox's holiday, upcoming releases to our monthly subscription service, Xbox Games Pass, and more. Notice that they didn't say Bethesda. They just said Xbox Game Studios. They didn't say Xbox Game Studios and Bethesda. So I don't.
Yeah, because my first question was more Starfield ? But yeah.
Yeah, right. I don't think I'm reading into the language too much here to say that I don't think Bethesda are going to be there, because every other time they've announced, they say it together. They say Xbox Game Studios and Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they're also, so this is going to be a bit of a roller coaster. So get your socks on, put on your protective helmet, your shoulder pads.
Yeah,
that's it. And so when we think about games that have been previously announced, but maybe haven't seen a lot of, what would you say? What are those games?
Well, I mean, I was shaking in my chair saying Avowed earlier, so probably Avowed comes to mind for me.
Great. Are there any others you can think of? Maybe one we just saw recently.
Redfall.
That's
the vampire one, wasn't it? Redfall.
That's the Arcane one. Yeah, that's coming out. Q1 2022.
Yeah, so we're probably going to see some of that. And I would like to say maybe another tease, like cinematic trailer from like maybe State of Decay, but I feel like that's also quite a way off still.
Yeah, I think that's
But
bloody miles
it's
away.
also
So
previously announced. So
it's true.
or what was that other game? The game no one knows what it's about but looks amazing.
Oh,
Everwild.
Everwild, yeah.
Everwild. Again, it's probably miles
Rare
off,
game.
but it falls under the category of being previously announced, right?
You're right. You're absolutely right. There are more. There's things like Scorn. There's things like As Dusk Falls. Technically, Fable is in that category.
Yeah. It got it got announced ages ago, didn't it? That little frog eating the fairy.
Yeah, and it's an Xbox. Technically, Hellblade 2 is in that category.
Nah. I don't think Hellblade 2. We recently just got something from Hellblade 2, and they were basically just like, nah. They were just like, we're doing it, but fucking stop tweeting us. Jesus.
Leave us alone. It's done when it's done.
We're working really hard. Leave us alone. That was basically the consensus of their update. So I don't think we'll see Hellblade 2.
No, I think you're probably right, and I think those things we've listed off, while they do fall into that category, which is a bit absurd in like a good way, that there's a lot that's been announced that we just haven't seen yet. When you start thinking of all of this stuff, it starts to become like a mini E3, and I always think they don't do that. They don't do that. Like they never make these events like mini E3s. Like the closest we maybe ever had was at the Video Game Awards in like 2019, where they announced the Series X and Hellblade together. Like that, and that was quite big because it was kind of out of nowhere, and it was a little Xbox thing. But they just never do that, and I'd love to be able to be like, yeah, man, let's get excited, but they just never do, even though they have a lot up their sleeve at the moment. I feel like this is going to be like, oh, here's Psychonauts 2, you know, even though it just came out, like, here's some more gameplay, or maybe it comes out tomorrow. I can't remember the exact release date of Psychonauts 2, actually.
Yeah, me neither. They might have a little segment for, because DICE are getting pretty chummy with Xbox with Battlefield 2042, so they might show some more game modes on that and some more, which would still be amazing, but it's not, it's not like showing us Everwild.
And of course, Halo and Forza both fall into that category as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We probably will see more Forza. Actually, they'll probably show off some nice scenery and some nice,
some trees.
Some trees.
I think you're dead right as well. They said they're some of our third party partners, so for sure, for sure, Battlefield. Did Xbox have marketing rights for Elden Ring? I can't remember, but
that got announced at the it was at like that Summer Games Festival, wasn't it, or something before E3, all that Elden Ring stuff. So I don't think anyone has particular marketing rights to it.
That was
I'm not really too sure.
That was for the gameplay when it was first announced. It was announced on Xbox's stage.
Yeah,
so maybe it was just for the reveal. Yeah, so who knows? Yeah. But As Dusk Falls, that game we like bring up every couple of episodes because where did it go? Like it looked kind of cool, and then they were just like vanished. So maybe we see that again. Maybe we see that Crossfire X game, that Remedy had a hand with Smilegate, the Korean shooter thing. So there were just lots of little games like that. I reckon we see lots of little games, and I think we should count ourselves lucky. I don't think we see any new announcements. And I think we count ourselves lucky if we see gameplay for a game that's already announced, because that's a pretty big deal. Like just like showing Avowed gameplay is that's like kind of a showstopper, or like Redfall gameplay, that's a showstopper. So
yeah,
expectations are firmly lowered.
Yeah, I have high hopes, but realistically, I kind of know what sort of games I'm likely to see there. But I'd still like to see some Avowed,
and to like corroborate this, right? Aaron Greenberg, Greenie, marketing head of Xbox, he said our Xbox stream is focused on game updates coming this year, so to set expectations, no new reveals or major surprises, but the team has a fun stream planned, so it's mostly focused on game updates coming this year. So again, It gives you an idea. Maybe there is one thing they've got in there which is a surprise, but I don't think we should be going into this expecting anything super big, like a gameplay reveal.
What's all the who would show off like Rainbow Six Siege stuff? That quarantine thing. That's still quite a way off, though, isn't it?
I don't know. Actually, but it'd be Ubisoft.
Yeah, it'd be Ubisoft. Yeah. No one. Yeah, that wouldn't be shown at Xbox or anyone else.
It would if they had a partnering deal with it, but they don't.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah.
Probably for good.
I'm just trying to think of games as well.
Like the third party ones, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, even more so, yeah. Like they said their game updates coming this year. I mean, again, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw maybe another little trailer for Halo, maybe like a Forge walkthrough. We haven't seen anything about Forge. That would be a good place for bloody Forge. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not going to steal eyes like campaign or multiplayer does, but like Forge is interesting and it keeps people talking about Halo. So between the flights, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Or maybe another flight announcement. Yeah.
Maybe I'll get invited to that one.
Probably not.
What's wrong with me? Why am I blacklisted on bloody Xbox's radar? What the hell's going on here? What have I done?
Sorry. I'm really sorry.
Listen,
okay.
I've sent a lot of messages to a lot of people, but I didn't mean them, Xbox. I just get caught up in Apex.
I'll tell you what. If I get invited again and you don't, up to Birmingham.
Yeah, all right.
We'll have a Halo flighting weekend.
That's worth a 3-4 hour drive to shoot some fucking bots and hang out with a bot. Am I right?
I'm gonna fucking end this podcast. I will click the end button.
Good,
yeah, well done.
That was pretty shit. That was pretty good. All right.
So the weird thing is that it's not the only event happening this month. It's not the only Xbox event happening this month, which is what makes this kind of a bit weird. I know. Do you remember, like back in? I don't even know when it was. It was like a few months, but it might have even have been before E3. I don't know. I feel like I'm losing all semblance of time. They did like a Twitch gaming thing, and I remember saying to you like, I think I'm going to watch it, but then it turns out it went on for like 4 or 5 hours.
This was after E3, I think.
Was it? Yeah. Okay.
I think. Yeah.
And well, like it. It wasn't good. It was like they showed some cool games there. Like we had a preview of 12 minutes. They gave us a release date. That's a fairly anticipated indie game, exclusive to Xbox, I think. And they showed off some other cool stuff as well that we're now playing. Maybe the Ascent. I can't remember. It's like mostly an indie game stuff. That's fine. But like it went on for like 4 hours, and there was like the dev interviews went on for like 2 minutes, and then it was like the panel talking about nothing for like half an hour, and it didn't need to be that long. So whatever. I'm not particularly excited for this. We'll see what comes out of it because Xbox has been killing it with the indie so far, but it's just the format, man. Xbox has always needed to refine their formats, and so I mean, hopefully they've taken a bit of feedback from last time. So we'll see.
Yeah. It could be exciting. We've seen some previous like ID Xbox stuff be pretty shit hot. Some pretty nice sizzle reels. And them just cutting to the chase without beating around the bush. So yeah, maybe they've taken the criticism on board and changed up the formula a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny.
We all love an indie game.
Yeah, without a doubt. So I'll have to see because it's quite a packed month for August, and it just kind of makes me think, why are you doing? I mean, I know they didn't have a choice of when Gamescom is, but like, why do this like this late, like within 2 weeks of the next event? So maybe they do just genuinely have a lot of deals and smaller deals to show, So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. How do you feel about night modes?
I'm a huge fan of them. I
bloody love a night mode.
Yeah, I have night mode on all my on all my computers, my Mac, my Chrome browsers, my phone, my watch as well. I literally have night mode on everything. So
My goodness.
I love me a night mode.
I've got my eyes set to night mode as well. I'm an owl at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. The sunlight burns me. I can't look out my window.
Yeah.
I come alive at night.
So, I mean, this is cool, right? I mean, I guess I didn't even explain what the news was. Night mode is being added to the Xbox dashboard. Just chatting about night mode.
Yeah, that's the story.
Yeah,
we love night mode.
Yeah, that's it. So, loads of night mode being added to the Xbox dashboard, which is actually really sick. And there's quite a few bits and bobs. You know, like how on your phone you can like make it sepia or whatever it is, like you know, like drains the blue light out of it.
Yeah.
And you can dim the screen from like a console level, which is, I think this is great because I think like I sometimes want to play on this TV in the bedroom, like my partner's like having a snooze or whatever, and that's like sometimes you boot a game up and it like you get flashbanged because for some reason they like some random or like a loading screen or some shit like that will just be really bright. So this is a really actually lovely feature. So I'm really happy to see this.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's cool. Oh yeah, I'll definitely be flicking my Xbox straight over to night mode the moment it comes out. When did you say it was coming out?
It's on the Insider ring at the moment.
Okay. So I could potentially use it now. I could.
If you're on the right, I don't know which ring it is because there's like alpha, beta, and like delta rings, isn't there? So
yeah, I can't remember what ring I'm in, but I'll have a look after this poddy.
Yeah, cool. Alrighty, so that's night mode, and then we've only got a couple of things left. I mean, we told you this has been fast paced for a quick resume podcast show, so you're welcome. The next thing was like there was like some weird little leak, and like this is one of those like pinch of salt things, but we've been hearing about it for a while, the idea of like a streaming stick that Xbox want to do. Like they want Games Pass like either natively on TVs or on as many devices as they can get it, or like a Chromecast style dongle you can whack into your TV or really any screen that allows you to stream or access this sort of stuff. So allegedly, according to an anonymous source, the design that you can see on screen right now is what it supposedly is, which is this teeny tiny little fucking thing. Apparently it was supposed to be out by the end of 2021. Obviously wasn't. You know why, I'm not even going to say it. It's a little thicker and a bit wider than a deck of playing cards. It can plug into a TVs to stream from home console or play from xCloud. Xbox controller can be paired with it, as can mouse and keyboard. Has Wi-Fi, but it can also be hardwired with an Ethernet cable. Will support party chat, and it will be able to install compatible apps that you would expect on kind of any of these devices. You know, Disney Plus, Netflix, that sort of stuff. So I mean, honestly, this is a very safe leak because like we've been hearing about this for so long, and I just like like maybe that could be me. I could have made this leak up.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the idea of it is great, right?
Yeah,
it's cool. I think that will be a really, really nifty device. I wonder what sort of price it will fetch, because it does a lot. It literally does like everything you'd want it to do.
I think it would be surprisingly cheap,
and it's just crazy portable. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You say that, but I mean, Chromecast are cheap, but Chromecast can't do most of the stuff that can do. Chromecast is just a glorified, like you can stream some apps off it, stuff like that, and you can sort of use it as like an AirPlay device for Android devices.
That's right.
So it doesn't do anything to do with gaming or compatibility with party chat or cloud streaming or anything like that. So
or like a Fire Stick, I guess. But
you'd like to think this would fetch a similar price, or maybe just try and edge and beat the price on like a Stadia, right? It's basically Stadia. It's basically Xbox Stadia. So, and you like to think they'd try and beat them on price or something. I don't know.
I imagine if this is a real thing, I imagine they'd be going for sort of somewhere between the £50 and £70 price range. You know,
I mean, how much is Stadia? Is like 130, isn't it? 130.
No, I thought it was just a subscription thing.
20. No, you pay for the actual device. So I think
The device is a browser.
No, yeah, but wait. Am I being stupid?
I think you might be.
Yeah, carry on. You talk.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna check if I'm being stupid.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would imagine maybe like £50 right price range. So what, $60? That would make it dead cheap. Access to all of Xbox Games Pass. Use controller, chat to your friends, and it's funny because it has no. I don't think it really has any appeal to anybody who already has an Xbox, but it just draws more people into it who maybe don't. I guess if you're someone who moves around a lot and you own an Xbox at home and you don't want to lug that around, you can instead just take this little dinky thing instead. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what it fetches.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was being dumb as well. Yeah.
What were you thinking of? An Ouya?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, Ouya. I was thinking of nothing. I wish I was thinking of nothing. It would have been less embarrassing.
It would be bliss.
It would be, quite interesting to see what kind of price it goes for. And it's just a nice portable option, right? Because let's be honest, lugging this bad boy is not an easy feat. One, I want to be delicate with it. And two, it's chunky. Like it genuinely was quite hard to zip up my backpack when I put it in because it's girthy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not exactly the most portable thing on the planet.
Definitely. It's one of those things of like just trying to get it in everybody's house, which is so fucking funny because that's like that was exactly their mission statement in like 2013. With the Xbox One, it's the device you want in your lounge. Everybody was like, I want games, and now they're like, okay, we'll focus on games, but now you can get those games anywhere. I guess like literally once they stripped back the TV and sports thing, everybody was like, yeah, right, I can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just PR.
It was the whole emphasis on TV and entertainment, which just spiraled everyone into madness.
Yeah. So, truly. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, I'm anticipating that we hear something about this like in the next year. I mean, when you've got things like this Steam dipping into the portable. I know this isn't necessarily portable, but it's like I don't know the word for it, like dissemination, I guess, of like getting products in people's hands because of their ease of use or accessibility or portability, I guess. That's if Steam's doing it, you can fucking sure bet Xbox is going to want a piece of that.
Yeah.
So
for sure,
we'll see. Ladies and gents, we've run out of news, and honestly,
no.
Yeah, honestly, we're not that interesting, so it'd be hard to keep going. Is there anything you want to
talk about? Apex more.
Well, yes.
Everyone wants that. No. No. Yeah, that's everything from me and us. I guess it was it was short and sweet. I feel like we got through the news pretty well. We had some fun with it, as we always do. You come here for fun. You don't come here for boring, stale news. That's why I'm here, to inject the fun into it.
Exactly. I just read off a script.
So, I feel like I've been ripping into you pretty hard.
No, it's cool, man. No, honestly, don't worry about it. It's it's clearly just because I've been seeing other people. It's just jealousy kicking in. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, when you sent me that picture, you sipping that cocktail with that person, I got extremely jealous. Threw my phone against a wall.
It could be you, man.
How could
all it takes is a Halo Infinite. Halo. I'm going to message 343. I'm going to be like, do not send this kid an invite.
Yeah,
I need to get him up here for cocktails and some bro
weekend.
Gaming. Yeah.
But that's that's everything from me. Follow our socials and like, share, and hit that sub button, or else
so defeated. Yep, that's everything from me. Follow our socials. Subscribe.
Might not be here next week.
Wow, guys, thank you so much for coming to episode 19 of the Q. Next week is episode 20.
It's the
Wow.
20 bomb.
It's the 20 bomb.
It's huge.
It's huge. We'll,
Definitely, you got to share and subscribe for that one.
Yeah, at the very least. I mean, come on, we've been stuck at 13 for a while now. Not that that's any of your fault, but you know, I'm doing my best to be a fun guy on Twitter, but it's honestly quite hard with people chatting shit all the time. It's unbearable.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. Adios, amigos.
Adios. Sign off in Spanish.
Bye.